Hey Summit, Bryan and Josh here hanging out in my office. A little bit ago, I sent out an email asking for your multiply story if you wanted to share that with us. And we got a bunch of them back, and we thought we would read a few of those for the church.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how God's moving and working. We're seeing stories like Matthew talked about wanting to trust God and say, I want to give above what I am regularly giving, but I don't even know how that's going to happen. And then he shares with us, no joke, 3 days after I made the commitment, I got a raise, and after taxes, the exact amount I'd committed.
That's awesome. I like Wes. He says, hey, they've been married 65 years. That's incredible. And they said that they've tithed all their life, 10% to the local church. And as they've attended Summit over the years, they've been blessed and challenged with the teaching they received each week. And it is their pleasure to contribute to multiply so that more people can be impacted by the love of Jesus.
Yeah, and there's even people that have experienced, struggles and things that have gone on. So Lonnie shares about not having a job and wife closing business in June. But in this situation, they felt like God over and over again was saying, trust me. And, God's blessing with 2 financial blessings. I mean, it's just amazing to see how God's moving in that way.
Or Kim shared that she has always given what she could, what she thought she could give, but Multiply really challenged her, and so she's stepping up and fulfilling what God is calling her to do, to help others, provide for them as God does, and give people a better hope for their future.
Yeah, and I love how it's also, it's pulling people into the whole mission of following Jesus too. Jeff shares about how his commitment means that he's actively participating in building the kingdom, and what a view to have of it. It's bigger than just a financial thing. It's building the kingdom.
Yeah. Or like Susan, she talked about how at advanced commitment night, they knew they were going to give, but they had to give up something. And so she and her husband said, we're going to give up Starbucks and we're going to give out takeout food. Why? So that they can give more. And this is awesome. She says, I am more willing to give these things up for someone's one more and my one more. That's awesome.
It's amazing. And I think we see it in how people respond here at Summit. We're seeing stories like Diane, who shares about the first time she came. This church was just so friendly and loving, and it's just exciting to have that kind of atmosphere, and that even after expenses come up, God's meeting needs.
And the final one is a guy named Jeremy who talked about how he was nervous to come to church. But once his family heard that he was coming, they were out of town, but they jumped in with him and got to learn more about Jesus. And he says, all these years, he says, I had in my head, and I was scared to talk about Jesus, but it just shows you that God had a plan all along. And so his multiply commitment means to him one more spot for someone like him and his family. So this is what Multiply is about. This is why we're on this journey, so that God can move in us and then through us. And it is a blessing to journey with you.